So wrestling happened. If I'm going to be real, I don't know what to say. This take fucking sucks, but I don't want to have to chug rum every time I want to try to do a new one. So let's just talk about wrestling. But first, let's go ahead. Let's lighten things up a bit, huh? And there we are. So, wrestling, it was good. It was really, really good. I don't know exactly how to even really start talking about this, but I guess it's just really the live experience kind of angle that is really the interesting intricacy of all of this, right? Because when you're watching at home, you're going to have a lot of time to really digest. You're going to have a lot of time to really think about a lot of this stuff. You're going to have a lot of time to truly dissect every single aspect of what you're watching, right? You're going to boil it down and separate it into its base components. And what the fuck, Java? You're going to boil it down to its base components, and eventually it'll be something workable. And you'll have a lot of different ideas in your head about what's happening on the screen, where it could be going. You have a lot more, especially with commercial breaks and stuff like that, you have a lot more time to really, I guess, analyze things. At least for me. So, with all of this, with wrestling, going to a live performance, I'm not really sitting there cynically picking at what I'm watching, right? I'm not sitting there going, how could this be better? Why? Because I am in the middle of a fucking room surrounded by about 20,000 other people who are just like me, who love this fucking sport, who love to come and sit down and watch wrestling. It's a very interesting thing to have that collectivism, I guess you could call it. It's very interesting to have that kind of thing. Because instead of going, well, this booking was bad, well, this was bad, there's a couple times that I even noticed, like, things kind of flopped a little bit, and I just couldn't bring myself to really have any kind of true emotions about it, right? Because I wasn't sitting there watching wrestling, watching the fucking 80th Total T commercial of the day, right? I was sitting there surrounded by people going, Wardlow! Wardlow! It was so much fucking fun, man. It's so fun to watch wrestling live. It's just really cool. And I feel like those positive kind of experiences are definitely going to affect how I view this particular episode. That being said, Pittsburgh is excruciatingly fun to watch wrestling in. Because you will get some hilarious fucking moments, right? Watching the crowd is almost more fun than watching the actual wrestling itself. Watching the crowd, Britt Baker's music, Pittsburgh worships this character, right? Her music hits, the crowd goes fucking wild, and then the words, hailing from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the crowd goes fucking ballistic. Oh, Jesus, man. It is so fucking funny how hard this town, this fucking town that I have residence in, fucking sucks the town's dick so hard. How into Pittsburgh is. Because I'm originally from Cleveland, right? And Cleveland, we do got that Cleveland spirit. We do have that, you know, you love your hometown, right? You grew up there, you accomplished things there. There's a special kind of thing, a special home. It's just a feeling, right? Nostalgia, home sickness, I guess. It's hard to explain. I don't know the word. But you love your hometown, but Cleveland, we loved our hometown, but we also have, I guess, criticisms. We have problems with it. You know, where Cleveland's always been kind of like a lovable loser. Ohio, the punchline of states, right? And we love that shit. We fucking we work along with that. We fucking dig it. It's funny. It's a funny joke, even if it is at our expense. That's kind of our identity. Pittsburgh is wild with how hard they love to suck their own dick. It's incredible seeing the ego that comes from these people. And I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing. It's great. If I could really say that. There was a moment where an extra walked down by the fucking Titantron where the entrances happen. And somebody had fucking left a shirt there. So he picked up the shirt and he started waving it around. And if you know anything about Pittsburgh, we go absolutely insane. We get fucking riled up whenever we see a piece of fabric moved in a fucking circle. Oh, it's like a terrible towel. You didn't see it, Ashley. Terrible towel. I love terrible towel because I love this town. I'm gonna fucking scream and cheer. And I was right there with him, brother. I was right there fucking screaming and cheering. I don't own a terrible towel. I think that shit is fucking stupid. But you do you. I may not agree with why you have a terrible towel, but I will fight to the death for your right to own one. So yeah, there's a lot of, shall we say, bias for this episode. I'm sure that if I really sat down and thought about it for, you know, a good 30 minutes, hour or so, I could probably structure it and break down every single thing that happened and really talk about everything. But man, that's not really what this is about. I don't want to talk about what happened in wrestling. I want to talk about what happened in wrestling. I want to talk about my own experience with it. And if that experience doesn't include a, you know, tiny breakdown of every tiny thing that happened, right? This extremely, I want to call it smart, but let's call it pretentious. this pretentious look at the nuances of booking and storytelling through the lens of wrestling. If my experience doesn't have anything to do with that, then I want to talk about what has to do with that. I want to talk about me. Me. So, if you come to this particular channel looking for a in-depth analysis of what happened in every single wrestling match, you're not going to get that. But if you want to come here thinking about those feelings, that amazing kind of, I guess, the feeling of like a group, being part of that group, right? Being a voice in a crowd. You know, when somebody hits a Ric Flair chop, if you listen back deeply and pull apart every single layer of the audio, somewhere within all the Ric Flair woos will be my voice in a live environment. And that's so much cooler than, I don't know, anything else. It's cool to be part of that. It's just really neat. So yeah, I suppose even the women's division was better when you don't have the 3 minutes of commercial.